Hello everyone and welcome back to RetroB8 and welcome back to the Commodore 64 Wonder years, where I'll be showing you 10 games that I absolutely adored playing from 1989. So sit back and relax because there's some absolute belters in here. Kicking us off in 10th place, we've got Sega's absolute classic Shinobi. Now we really did get a real good version of Shinobi on the Commodore 64 in my opinion, and I absolutely adored playing this back when I was a kid. I always remember playing this on the Amiga at my friend's house, and to be fair, it just didn't really seem a very good game. However, I really do feel that the Commodore 64 version plays better than the Amiga. The game scrolls really well, and the sprites are really well defined too, and the backdrops are pretty cool as well. However, there is no in-game music, but there is sound effects. In 9th, we have Tubin. Now, for me personally, I always think Tubin's a little bit of an underrated game and it gets a bit of bad press, or it certainly used to, whereas when it comes to two-player games, I just used to find this was awesome fun. The game itself, yes, can be a little bit repetitive, definitely in single player. However, when you're playing against your mates, it's an all-out battle to get to the bottom first. Definitely a game that shouldn't be taken too seriously. For me personally, there's definitely a fun element in there, and I think they've done a really good job of converting it from the arcade. Time for a movie big hitter, and we've got Batman, which was an absolute smash in 1989. Absolutely no surprises that Ocean picked up the license to create this game, and just by looking at it, it's just everything says Ocean. This type of game served Ocean well, with shoot-'em action crossed with platforming and ladders. It featured in a whole host of Ocean games, from Robocop to Navy Seals to even Total Recall, but Batman was one of the first and best. I absolutely love the graphical style of this game, and it also, of course, had amazing music as well. Now, some might say the Commodore 64 wasn't blessed with the greatest of racing games, and yeah, okay, I tend to agree. However, in 7th place, we have got Turbo Outrun, and Sega's classic definitely booked that trend. Developed by Probe Software and published by US Gold, of course the music is one of the standout parts of this game. It was by none other than Jeroen Tel. The presentation is superb, static pictures, bonus scenes, you even get a map at the end of the game. However, this makes the tape version an absolute nightmare, so if you can, I would recommend picking up the disc version. In 6th, we've got Silkworm. Slick gameplay, very addictive, but also incredibly hard. As usual, heavily armed terrorists threaten the world again, so of course it's up to you, and a friend if you've got any, to save the world. If you are playing in single player mode, you can choose whichever vehicle you want. However, this makes absolutely no difference to the gameplay with the exact same amount of enemies, so yeah, you really want to play this one with a friend. Now we're at the business end of things, we're up to 5th, and we have System 3's Myth, History in the Making. One thing that does really frustrate me about the game is that it has possibly some of the best music ever on the intro screen. However, during the game, there is no music. If that was the other way around, this game would probably be number 1. The scrolling on this game, it is absolutely sublime. It is superb. Graphically as well, the game is absolutely gorgeous. So different to the Spectrum and the Amstrad versions. In 4th, we've got one of those games I never know how to pronounce. Is it Cabal? Cabal? I don't know, but what I do know is that I used to really enjoy this game. Although it lacks a simultaneous two-player option that would have added so much gameplay, this frantic operation while variant is still one of the best shooting gallery games ever. Clearing static screens of enemy forces is very addictive, and furthermore there's loads of collectible weaponry and destructible scenery. In 3rd, we have Houston's Cyberdyne Warrior, which always seems to amaze me how few people have heard of this game. But it has got pedigree, because this game is developed by the people who will go on to make Mayhem in Monsterland. And they made a colourful, playable platform shooter here. The only slight problem to this game was that it was a flick screen. Your player would often enter a new screen to run into something that would kill you instantly, forcing you to memorise a path throughout the levels. Overall, a game that I really enjoyed, but if you want to play this, definitely look for it on the Commodore format cover tape. It's not very often that I would consider an incomplete game to put into one of my videos. However, this game was so awesome when I was a kid, and I was completely oblivious to the fact that you could not complete it without cheating. And even then, when you completed that level, the next level was just a complete mess. However, the first 6 levels are absolutely class. Obviously I never got that far when I was a kid, but what I did play, I loved. So top spot, number 1, the best game that I played from 1989 has to go to Stunt Car Racer, what I consider the best racing game on the Commodore 64. The first time I ever played this game was on a friend's Atari ST, and I absolutely adored it. So coming from an Atari ST to the Commodore 64 was quite a big jump. However, I think the Commodore 64 pulled off an absolute masterstroke here. I played this for hours on end as a kid, and if I'm being brutally honest, I still do now. My go-to Commodore 64 racing game. I think you'll all agree that 1989 the Commodore 64 was at the peak of its power, with some absolutely stunning games that I adored playing as a kid. If you love your Commodore 64 as much as I do, please consider subscribing to my channel, and please check out the previous years of the Wonder years. And until next time, goodbye.